Nikita Koloff, the Russian Nightmare. And you're watching the #1 show on Long Island with Monte and the Pharaoh.
All right, welcome to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte and the Pharaoh, seen only here out of Indie Music TV in Ronkonkoma, New York.
Venus?
Could get my shit together.
This is planet Earth.
Oh,
back.
my God. And to the right is
Venus.
my partner in crime and the star of the show, Mr. Jimmy Pharaoh. Jimmy, how are you, buddy?
Good morning, partner. How you doing? What's
All
going
right,
on?
how was your Thanksgiving, my friend?
It was okay. Yeah, nothing controversial. Came and went. I like Thanksgiving, but man, was there football? I don't even. It doesn't have the same vibe anymore to me. Thanksgiving.
Everything's weird, right?
Right. I mean, who's the team that loses everything? Did Detroit lose?
Detroit.
The Lions
lost,
play
yes.
like every Thanksgiving, don't they? Lose.
Detroit lost, but Dallas.
That's the other.
No, Dallas lost to Washington too. So Dallas never used to lose.
That's the other Thanksgiving team, right? Usually Dallas and Detroit get the games every year. I don't know why, especially Detroit. Well, Dallas, yeah.
We lost Pat Patterson at age 79 yesterday.
Yeah.
Pat was born Pierre Clermont. He had been battling cancer, which I did not know about.
Okay.
And not to highlight anything, but obviously he was the first known gay professional wrestling superstar.
First
not that really matters.
To say something on a major platform, yeah. Yep.
Before we talk about Pat,
Matt,
you want to play that video? Thanks, brother.
And now they're going to see a real wrestler, the one, the only Pat Patterson. I am the Intercontinental Champion, and I'm the best in the world today. From all over the world, England, France, China, Russia, all over. His hand compared to mine. No, not that.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. And interesting enough, Jimmy, we had set up the show to go over the history of the Intercontinental title.
True. That's ironic.
But like true.
You know, it's funny. Before we started the show, I had so much energy, and then I start to really think about Pat Patterson and what he means, not just to the industry and to Vince. He's obviously Vince's closest friend.
Sure.
How much he means to our history together, because Pat Patterson, the Intercontinental title begins when I begin watching, basically. You're talking late 79 when I moved out here to Long Island.
Right.
And the Intercontinental title was a brand new thing. I had just started to have full-time access to pro wrestling because I finally had a TV.
Yeah.
And Pat Patterson was this Intercontinental champion. I was always aware of Bruno's belt even as a small kid, so I knew about the WWF World title, and I knew about Bruno. But as I got familiar with pro wrestling, I was like, wow, what's this Intercontinental title? It seems pretty important.
Right.
And right off the bat, right there you can tip your cap already to Pat Patterson, because he took a brand new thing and made it acceptable, stabilized it. People, were interested in the Intercontinental belt. He was a great first champion. And he had a very interesting run, too, with the Wizard there. Of course, I wind up meeting you within a year or two.
So he was already, when I met you, he was already
announcing with Vince.
We were into Morales era, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, he went from a pro wrestling career, and boy, I hope I say this right. As you said earlier, he was known as the first publicly, who announced he was gay. And I hope I do say this right. Pat Patterson was the most macho mofo in the ring.
He was?
He was!
He was.
So, hey, what does that tell you? I really don't know. Think about it, folks. He was great. And he had a very interesting first, title reign as the first champion. Him and Wizard had a falling out. I don't know if you remember that. Him and Albano. Albano.
I was thinking about that storyline. And again, we're not going to...
It's a great storyline.
Wrestling fans are watching it, and especially old school wrestling fans, the story. But I was thinking
They might have forgotten.
I was thinking about the story writing behind this, though, Pharaoh.
Yeah, it's great.
We're going to turn Patterson face, but how do we do it? We do it after he just... By the way, I think he had 3 matches with Bob Backlund at Madison Square Garden. Could have been 4. Probably need you to go to that. I forget. But I know it ended in a steel cage blowout, a blow-off. But as champion, he turns face.
Right.
Because he hates Lou Albano and Grand Wizard sells him.
Right.
How incredible is that in itself?
It was excellent. And then, of course, the great recent guest, Ken Patera, comes along and takes the belt away from Patterson. Those were great, great days to be a wrestling fan.
Oh, my God.
And I love the fact that the line was blurred. And I love the fact that not everybody, for sure, some of us actually do suspend our belief that much, folks. For sure, knew that it was so-called scripted. There was some great reality back in those days to professional wrestling when you watched it. And Patera was a legitimate Olympic strongman. Pat Patterson, you didn't want to meet Pat in the back alley back in his prime. He'd probably knock your teeth out. So this was great stuff.
So my first introduction to Patterson, though, right? So you bring me in as a wrestling fan,
my God,
right?
Here we go.
I become this huge Sergeant Slaughter fan.
Right. He was your first love.
He was my first love.
Sergeant
and
Slaughter.
Boy, for people that didn't get to experience
the Cobra Clutch Challenge,
Challenge. Went to every house show. It was not a main event, but it was such a big portion of a house show. Think about this: a guy sitting in a chair allows the Cobra Clutch to be put on him.
Yep.
And he's going to get paid if he could get out of this, which no one could. Yeah, right.
$5,000.
And no one could ever get out. It was every week, and again, Nassau Coliseum in New York, Madison Square Garden, Comac Arena, and then God.
The beauty of it was the slow burn. When Slaughter first presented this hold that no one could break.
Right.
We started off with the very bottom of the card, guys. Here comes Steve King. I'm from Panama City, Panama. I'm going to get out. Dude, he couldn't even wiggle, and he was giving up.
Yes.
Okay?
Right.
And then we got to Frankie Williams. I'm a little bit bigger than Steve King, and I try hard.
Right.
And he wiggled a little bit, and he's done. Then the next week, an unknown, very big kid, at the time unknown, named Jim Duggan, gets in there, and he actually stands up. But he sits right the F back down. So someone was able to almost stand up off their chair. They slowly, then quick draw Rick McGraw. That guy.
But you're talking about TV.
Yeah, of course.
But when we used to go to house shows,
right? I saw Danucci at the Comac Arena.
I saw Tony Garea at the Nassau Coliseum.
Nice.
And let's not forget this. I believe this was at the Comac Arena. I wasn't there, but I think you were.
I was at a lot of Comac Arena.
Bob Backlund went through the Cobra Clutch Challenge and did not break it. Correct?
You know why? Because Slaughter let go of it and then threw him onto, and rammed Backlund's head into the concrete pole and then ran away. And the crowd was miserable. They were like, "You bastard, get back here."
But think about that thousands of people would go just to see the Cobra Clutch Challenge.
You know what? You said earlier that, it wasn't, on paper, it wasn't the main event. It was, according to the Pop. You know what I mean?
Oh, but it was
the Cobra
incredible.
Clutch Challenge. The Pop was the loudest at the Comac Arena every time we saw that. Dominic DeNucci gave it a nice little go.
Well,
at
they would always have a quick run. But let's.
But how well did it build up? They start with the bottom of the card, guys, and a little bit more and a little bit more until we got to the Patterson confrontation. And how great was that when Patterson attempted and
think about
most
it,
people's minds got out of.
But I'm new to it.
Right.
And Patterson comes in. And I'm like, there's no way this announcer.
Oh, I thought
right?
I thought he
he's
could get
getting
out.
out.
I thought he could.
Well,
because I had the head start of seeing Patterson as an Intercontinental
right,
Champion.
Exactly.
You didn't have that
I
head
didn't
start.
have that. So, long story short, Patterson kind of gets out, but not
he
officially.
Got out.
Not officially.
He was out. Slaughter
but this leads
letting go.
to probably one of the great, at the time,
it's
matches of all time.
It is one of the greatest matches of all time.
Now, it was a street fight, right? It wasn't called boot camp.
Alley fight.
An alley fight.
It was
That's
called
right.
an alley fight at Madison Square Garden.
And it's funny, me and Jimmy remembered, I was trying to look at the pictures, but me and Jimmy remembered Patterson coming out in his I Love New York shirt, but it was tied on the side.
Yeah, and the skinny jeans, and he's not skinny.
Yeah.
He had skinny jeans on, but Pat's not skinny.
Yeah.
And the boots.
And the cowboy boots.
The dingo boots or whatever.
The cowboy boots.
Dude,
the
he
cowboy
killed
boots.
Slaughter with those boots.
And how does that match end? Do you remember?
Did someone throw in a towel?
The Grand Wizard throws in the towel.
Wizard throws in the towel. Dude, the blood.
Oh, my God.
You know what? I mean, all the hardcore things that followed later, there's your template right there. I
Absolutely.
mean, well, there's plenty of, I'm sure there were other Grizzly matches before it. I can hear a nerd typing away somewhere, And definitely in Cologne's territory, I'm sure things were going on like that. But that was at Madison Square Garden at that time period to see a bloodbath at that level? No, there was nothing like that. That was insane. How about the roar of the crowd every time Patterson hit him with the boot?
Oh, my God.
It was like, boom, 20,000 people going berserk. Pat Patterson was main event material. Pat Patterson was a huge part of our childhood. It's hard for me to say stuff like this publicly. I'm deeply, affected that he passed.
Me too. I got to tell you, I give kudos to NXT last night and their tribute to Pat.
Yeah.
Very, very emotional for me.
Yeah.
As much as we joked about Pat. Now, again,
I know, yeah, but
again,
he probably would have laughed too. To be very honest, there was a lot of Don Rickles in that man.
There are some fans that speak about some of the things that Pat was accused of.
Right.
I don't think this is the moment to talk about that.
Absolutely not. And besides, we can always, let that one breathe because history hasn't said that he's done anything for sure.
Well, history says he didn't, right?
Right. So
regardless how it ended or what happened, it says it doesn't.
Right.
Was I there? I don't know.
Right.
I will tell you this. Everybody that I know that knew Pat Patterson, we know some people,
We've heard some
and then
good things.
everybody that I know we don't know that are famous.
Yeah.
And Pat Patterson was an icon.
Yeah.
He lived a great life.
Oh yeah.
He lived a life which most of us would love to live, doing something that you generally love.
I shared with you earlier this week, I am genuinely concerned. Yeah, that's right. I'm genuinely concerned. For those who hate the man, I'm concerned for Vince now. This was his best friend, in my mind, unless I missed something, or at least his closest business associate all these years. This was his right-hand man.
Right.
This is the guy who created the Royal Rumble. I mean, my God, that is my favorite event at the end of the day.
Well, it's his right-hand man, right?
It's his right-hand man, and Vince is not young either. And I know that these kinds of things can affect somebody deeply. So, yeah, I do think he has feelings, and I think that this is horrendously hard for Vince.
Again, I think what you said is,
gonna have
how
an
rough
effect.
is this going to get worse
Right.
when Vince,
I don't even want to.
Hulk... Look,
I
I don't want to go there.
Hulk's got a while.
But anyway...
Can we give Hulk till 83? Give him a couple of decades.
Rest in peace, Pat Patterson.
Absolutely.
I want to take a moment also before we go to commercial break, and then we get to the story of the day, which we have, the replica second Intercontinental title. The first one was held by...
I thought we were supposed to get the one that got torn up. Greg said he was going to mail it to us.
This is the replica of the one that Greg tore up.
Greg
You will
Valentine.
not find these anywhere, folks. This was sent to us, which... first of all, I want to thank... I'm not going to call them fans because our channels have been blowing up. And I mean blowing up in a good way.
Yes.
And personally, I don't consider people that watch our show fans. I consider them as supporters and part of the family.
Right.
And I want to thank you all. Thanksgiving. Thank you guys for all the support you've been giving us. It's been incredible.
This was the best Thanksgiving for Monte and the Pharaoh.
It was fantastic.
I mean, as far as the show goes.
And I expect it to go to further heights for sure. But the replica belt's here. We're going to discuss our feelings on what we may feel is, to me anyway, is the most important belt in the history of wrestling. For me. Doesn't mean that everybody else has to feel that way.
A Morocco mark.
I am.
Go on. You are.
I am.
That's
but
funny.
first, I want to tell the people out there, in case you didn't know, Dwayne Gill, otherwise known as Gilbert, recently had a heart attack. I heard he's doing well, but he's at home. And unfortunately for Mr. Gill, he cannot return to work, so he needs help with his medical expenses.
Understood.
And, his everyday living expenses. There's a GoFundMe page. We're going to put it up on the board. Please, in this time of giving, give to one of the wrestlers that truly needs your help. It's important that we support people as human beings first. But Dwayne himself, this is a man in need. So I'm asking everybody out there, if you can, help out. We're doing the best we can here, and I want to thank you. If you want to fill anything in there, Pharaoh?
He's one of my favorite people that we've come across. He
We
was very
interviewed him
honest.
recently,
He's a
right?
hard work.
Honest.
He was a hard-working guy.
Yeah.
He does not expect a handout right now.
It's a good. Please share that, will
he
you?
does not expect a handout. We only got to spend one day with him, but I got a real good feel on that man. He's America to me. He's a hardworking man who doesn't expect anything more than what he worked for. He's come upon some hard times, and I was thrilled when you told me that we had some funds to take care of and help him. He's a good man.
Well, that's
help a good
again,
person.
thanks to the supporters, you were able to give us funds so we could give
Right.
Mr. Gill funds.
Right.
And again, anyone who donates
Right.
to the Monte and the Pharaoh show will go directly to Dwayne Gill.
Nice.
I did have a fan out there who caught the show with Gill and said to me, and I just want you to weigh in on this. I won't name the person because it doesn't matter, but
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily agree. I'd want you to weigh in.
Uh-oh.
Mr. Gill felt that wrestlers weren't owed pensions anymore, right? They
He's
get
not the
paid.
only one. He's 90% of our guests.
This
Go on.
right. This
He is.
particular person said, "Well, I guess I'm not donating
this?
because I guess he should have wanted a pension."
Oh, this is news to me. That's look. I don't know who that is. That's very vindictive. Can I just leave it at that?
Sure.
Because I think the important thing is Gil's a good man, and let's help a good person. That's pretty much it. His opinion on unions, I don't think should really sway anybody.
I agree.
That's a little strange. Okay.
I
Fair
also
enough. It's very
agree,
strange.
as human beings, if we have, let's help. And again, I never tell anybody what to do with their money. Everybody works hard for their money.
Right.
And if you can't afford it or you don't even want to,
Right.
that is your right as a
Right.
human being.
Right.
I will just tell you personally, like Pharaoh said, Mr. Gill was nothing but a gentleman, seemed like a great guy, hard worker, is America, everything about
Yeah.
America. So
Real
anything
me.
that the Monte and the Pharaoh family can do, anything Monte and the Pharaoh can do, we are there for you, Mr. Gill. With that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back with the theme of the show,
Yeah.
history of the Intercontinental
In the meantime,
title.
can I see who the hell wrote something like that? We'll be right back.
You need a body shop? You need engine repair? Auto Excellence, Collision Specialists, 631-261-6420. That's 631-261-6420. Auto Excellence.
That's right, folks. Canine Corral for all your dog daycare and overnight care. Call 631-549-1544. That's 631-549-1544. And APB, American Protection Bureau, voted #1 best on Long Island for all your security needs. Call 631-390-9050. That's 631-390-9050. APB.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte and Pharaoh, only seen here at Indie Music TV out of Ronkonkoma, New York. And at the board is none other than super producer Matt. Matt, how are you, bud?
Doing great as always.
It's so good to see you, man. I got to tell you, I look forward to Thursdays all the time and our special Saturday shows, and I'm always good and glad to see you, sir.
Yeah, me too. I have a great time here.
I got to tell you, me and Pharaoh were talking. What a great job you do, man. You're spot on with everything. It's just a pleasure.
Oh, thank
I feel
you.
like you're setting him up. You're not setting him up.
No, I wouldn't dare set him up.
Good job, man. Oy. What else we got?
All right, man. History of the Intercontinental title. There's been 86 different Intercontinental champions.
Is that all?
Chris Jericho holds the record for most reigns with 9.
Nice.
The Honky Tonk Man holds the longest reign at 454 days.
Little hubba hubba.
Only 3 other wrestlers, Pedro Morales, my man, Don the Magnificent Morocco,
Of course.
and Randy Savage, have held a championship for a continuous reign of more than 1 year.
Okay.
Sami Zayn is the current champion in his second reign, which he's
Right.
doing a good job with,
He's
by the way.
liberating us. Go on. Yeah.
All right? So here we go. Thoughts on the Intercontinental Championship? Where did it come from?
Okay.
Maybe fill in the fans a little bit about it, and let's have at
Well,
it.
all right. Once upon a time in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in 1979, Pat Patterson defeated somebody, but I'm really not sure. They said he won it in a tournament.
So let me ask you something. I heard
that was a fictitious tournament, folks. They just gave the belt to
I
Patterson.
heard
and-
on a story.
What?
I heard somewhere that there's actually a video out there
No,
where
there-
Patterson wrestles DiBiase and hits him with brass
Oh,
knuckles.
he's up. What is that? I thought you were gonna
I
tell me,
have
like,
never
like
seen
he's
it.
pinning the custodian from Maryland High or something like that. There was no match.
I have never seen that video.
Because it doesn't exist there, Edith. It's not there. The only one answer to that is
So DiBiase gets this
Oy.
North American Championship.
yes.
And
Right.
then at some point they decide they're going to make the Intercontinental Championship.
Right.
So they're combining this North American Championship into the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this fake Rio de Janeiro match.
Right.
Pat Patterson's wrestles Ted DiBiase.
Right, supposedly.
Now,
But,
if the fans out there know that there's a video out there, I don't know
Yeah,
this
let's
to
see
be
it.
true. I
Yeah,
have
right.
no idea, but hey, what
they'll
can I
find a
tell you?
video of them from somewhere else and put Rio de Janeiro. See, I told you, you guys are idiots.
So we know Pat Patterson is the first Intercontinental Champion.
Yep, that's where it all starts.
Pat turns face
Yep,
and loses to Ken Patera, who
Yep.
has been in studio most recently.
Yep.
By the way, thank you, fans, for all the love you're giving to Ken Patera and
Yeah.
his video.
yeah.
He
On
beats
fire.
him at a house show at Madison Square Garden, which at
Interesting.
that time, folks, for anyone that was at the time, look, the belt either changed at Madison Square Garden.
No,
it
hold-
rarely changed on TV, only the
Yeah, but
tag
hold
team
on. But
title.
hold on, though. When you say house show, don't forget in those days, in 1980, Madison Square Garden was on once a month.
Yes,
So it's not really a house show. It was their pay-per-view.
but it was a house show.
But it's not, if you think about
I
it.
understand.
Technically, it was on cable. We pay for cable. It was the once-a-month show at the Garden. So it was like their pay-per-view.
3 places the belts always changed, and the tag team titles
Madison
used to,
Square Garden,
again, used to-
Philadelphia Spectrum, Boston Garden.
That's it. That's it.
Never Landover, Maryland Cap Center?
Never.
And we used to
never.
get excited when those
We
cards
used to
would
love,
come on.
We used to always love those
Yeah,
Landover
Mosca didn't
matches.
beat Backlund
No.
at Landover. Yeah, you're
Now
right.
the tag belts changed on TV, but also changed on house shows.
Yes.
But this is about the Intercontinental title.
Correct the mundo.
Ken Patera will then hold the belt for 231 days.
A great reign. I remember it well. Him and Grand Wizard, a great heel. And the first long-running heel to establish.
Now, do you remember some of the great Ken Patera matches for the
Tony
Intercontinental
Atlas.
title? I remember you mentioned that.
Tony Atlas.
Tell me a little bit
Well,
about
Tony
that.
Atlas was a big rival of his, and they were a beautiful match. They were a match made in heaven. Two muscle guys. One an incredible heel with the villainous Grand Wizard, and the other Mr. USA Tony. I wanted Tony Atlas to win a belt. That's the torture I remember back then.
Right.
Tony Atlas was main event. Give this guy a belt, and he would always come close. I think he beat Patera by countout. The infamous match at Shea Stadium where Tony Atlas presses Ken Patera. So, yeah, I remember quite a bit about that whole first run with Patera, but you know what's coming next. Because I don't even have to be able to see this, which
Go
I
ahead.
can't, by the way,
Might as
folks.
well say it.
Is the guy who basically wrecked our childhood, Pedro
Yes.
Morales. Pedro Morales comes along, and you know what's funny, though? I was looking, of course, into this whole subject over the last few days of the Intercontinental title, and I watched multiple videos on Morales, and it was hammered into my head more and more. Here's the facts. It's Pedro Morales that truly, in the eyes of the fans, established the Intercontinental title.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's kind of mind blowing because at the time we as just new fans couldn't stand them because we liked the bad guys, so we were like rooting against them with all our might, and this man would win. And we only knew one thing for sure about him that we knew was great about him, and we couldn't deny it.
Right.
We knew that he had been world champion, and there were only a few at that point in 1980 as we were first getting into this sport. Because we had Bruno, of course, Nature Boy Buddy Rogers was the original champion. Bruno, Stan Stasiak for 9 days? Back, Koloff for a week or two?
Right.
There were very few champions, and we knew that Pedro held that belt for 2 years. So Pedro really reinforced and stabilized and established the Intercontinental title. My God, he tortured us.
So now think about that,
He
right?
tortured
So
us.
the guys would challenge Backlund.
Yeah.
They would do their tours with Backlund.
Right.
Or their matches.
Right.
1, 2,
Right.
usually 2 matches. Mm-hmm. And then the next would be the third month would be against Pedro.
Right.
Very rarely did Pedro have a second match
Right.
for the Intercontinental
Correct.
title. I remember.
Correct.
And then after Pedro, they would have a blow-off against either Tony Atlas or Ivan Putski, and then whoop, they would go out to whatever
Right.
regional area they
Yep,
were going
off they
to. Right?
went.
So it was very well scripted.
It was like a machine. They ran the business like a machine.
So here comes my hero, Don Morocco.
Here
Now,
he
this is where, we were young and we weren't thinking, but Morocco wrestles Morales. Now, remember what I said, folks. It would always be Backlund, Morales. Mm-hmm. Morocco challenges Morales before he challenges Backlund.
I knew from the moment Morocco, I had another advantage over you because I've been watching a little longer. I saw Morocco in Florida Championship Wrestling with Gordon Soley announcing, and I knew that Morocco was a top-shelf villain, and that when he came here, he was going to beat Pedro. I could feel it.
Really?
Yeah, Morocco.
I don't remember you saying that when we
You
were
know
younger.
what, though? Well, you know what?
I think you're full of shit.
You really? Well, I could be, but I'll tell you what. I know this much. I remember I'm going off my impressions of Morocco from what I remember.
Fine. Yeah.
And I remember feeling that way about Valentine, too. There was certain bad guys that you knew were certainly capable of beating Pedro, and I think Morocco was one of them. I just think that, you used to pull me into your despair pit when it comes to that, and I probably feel more confident than you, even though you were a Morocco fan,
Well,
Morocco was great.
he was great.
He was.
Morocco only holds the belt for $1.56. Now, again, as an old...
Nowadays, that's incredible.
I know, but as older fans, holding the belt was really important. The longer you held it was very impressive,
Yeah, sure.
right?
Of course.
Pedro wins the belt back.
That was a nightmare.
In Madison Square Garden,
I couldn't
which
believe that.
crushed us.
Crushed
us. Unexpected. It was I didn't even understand.
See, now you're full of shit because we knew what was coming.
We did?
Yeah, we did, and we dreaded it. We could see that Pedro was coming back to take his belt, and I remember when he returned to TV, clapping his hands. He ready for any kind of action. Remember that stuff? I'm
right.
like, oh,
That's
no,
right.
here he goes with the left hand to the belly. Here we go
Pedro
again.
would hold the belt for 425 days.
Killed us, man.
And Morocco, who I loved. Now, guess that. 425 days. You're talking Morales
Dude.
just knocking off every one of these bad guys that we're rooting for.
It's almost a shame we don't have that list because that would have been an interesting list to look at. The guys Morales knocked off one
And at
after
the time,
other.
Morocco goes back to Florida. He goes to Georgia Championship Wrestling.
Right.
And remember, we caught Morocco on Georgia Champ. We were all excited, but Georgia
Piper
Championship
thing
Wrestling.
too, right? With
Oh, my
Morocco,
God, it was
the
huge.
Piper Morocco roller quarters.
But
Oh,
all
my
of a sudden, and you know what was really cool about this, folks, that I always remember? Morocco used to give the Grand Wizard shout-outs on Georgia Championship
Right. How
Wrestling.
do you get away with that? That's great.
Well, not only that, it's like Morocco felt like ours.
Right.
See, again, not to veer off this a little bit, Pharaoh, but, last night was a big night for wrestling, I thought.
Okay.
Sting came to AEW.
Did he really?
Yes.
Wow.
But it gets worse.
Looks like I better check my DVR.
But wait a minute, it gets worse.
Well, okay. Sting.
Moxley
Yeah.
loses the belt last night.
That I'm aware of, and I'm thrilled about that.
Okay,
Go
but
on.
here's the scary part.
Right.
I forget the guy's name now. I apologize. But the guy from
Oh, you mean Don
Impact.
Don Callis?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, go on.
He shows up.
Yeah.
and him and your boy go run off, and they're going to be on Impact on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I started thinking,
Yeah.
Vince, you
getting
look at
interesting.
these old DVDs, and Vince was like, when they used to make these superpower cards, he goes, these guys would never get along. I wasn't worried.
Right.
I'm worried.
They get along.
It seems like there's such a hatred for Vince McMahon.
Oh, boy.
That everybody's going to get together, and this one's going to work.
It won't be everybody until New Japan goes, you know what? Count this in, too.
How about NWA, too?
That would be it. What about Ring of Honor?
Imagine those supercards.
It would be legit competition if you took all those boys and put them all together. Yeah, you got something.
Now
going on.
you got all these wrestling podcasters or whatever saying, "Hey man, this is good for wrestling because now Vince will have to step up his game."
Right.
Here's the thing. I'm sorry.
No, you don't think Vince will step it up? What's he going to do? Step it down? He better step it up.
You know what?
He's got to do something.
Sports is made a certain way.
Yeah.
You root for a color or a city of a team, right? Mm-hmm. I'm sorry.
If you're asking me, am I still a Jet fan? Yeah, I'm still a Jet fan.
Oh, you still a WWE guy?
Yeah, but I'm also a New Japan fan. You know that.
Let me ask you this. If push came to shove and New Japan was beating the shit out of WWE, do you think your loyalties would start going, you know what? Let's go WWE.
Well,
let's go WWE. Let's go WWE.
Let's look at history. When the NWO was doing their thing, I absolutely preferred that program. Was I rooting for Vince to go down though? Absolutely not. So I guess.
Did you feel good when WCW went out?
I felt good that Vince won.
Yeah, me too. And now I'm scared.
Because I knew that the wrestling guy had won.
Now
Say
I'm
whatever
scared.
you want about Vince McMahon, the human being, and how he conducts his business, but Vince McMahon versus Ted Turner was the wrestling guy versus the TV guy. And I wanted Vince McMahon to win because he's the wrestling guy.
Well, before we take
simple.
I want to bring it back. Before we took a commercial break, we were talking about Morocco giving shout-outs, but Morocco felt like ours.
Right.
Our WWE. Yeah, we knew he was in Georgia. Fine.
I feel that way about Valentine as well.
Yeah.
You know, he went other places and had major impact, but hey, he's the WWE guy. I'm sorry, WWF guy.
So what happens is right before the commercial break, Don Morocco returns, but unfortunately the Grand Wizard passes away of a heart attack, and Captain Lou Albano manages Morocco. And what does Don Morocco do for us? He defeats Pedro Morales and puts him on the shelf permanently.
Right.
And
you forgot to mention he also eats a sandwich during a match.
Absolutely.
Morocco. Come on.
With that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will revisit the history of this Intercontinental title and the great wrestlers who have wore this belt. Jimmy, I got to take a dump.
What?
No. I mean, I need a dumpster.
Well, for all those needs, you need to call Big V Dumpster Rental, Long Island, New York, 631-900-DUMP. The Monte and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah. Jeff Quest, graphics design, custom vinyl lettering, and all your art and video needs. 516-317-8204. That's for Jeff Quest, graphic design.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte and the Pharaoh, seen only here out of Indie Music TV every Thursday from Ronkonkoma, New York. So we left off. Don Morocco finally puts one of our most hated guys out, Pedro Morales.
And here comes.
Who's been in here.
Several times.
Mr. Tito Santana.
Our good friend.
Who defeats Don Morocco. At the Boston Garden.
Yeah.
I remember that match.
Yep.
And Morocco then eventually goes on the shelf, disappears for a while, comes back, but this isn't about Morocco.
Right.
And then here comes our main man.
My guy.
Greg Valentine.
There we go.
To destroy Tito Santana.
Yep.
He beats him in Canada.
Yep. He had a great reign.
285 days.
Yep. That was awesome.
But then in Baltimore, Maryland, Tito Santana defeats Greg Valentine in a steel cage match. Steel cage title change.
They had a great rivalry.
The first of their kind, I believe, in the WWF.
That was a great rivalry.
That being said, Greg Valentine then takes the belt that's in front of us right now.
and
in his anger,
somehow tore it to pieces.
and tore it to pieces, which is pretty hard to do, right?
Impossible.
I don't know.
Wait a minute, though. You see, we've met Greg, several times. He's got those hands, though.
I don't know if
It's
he can rip this. This is thick leather,
I don't know.
dude.
Yeah, you can't rip the metal. You can rip the. Yeah, you know what? Greg's an angry guy. Oh my God, how did he do it?
So
Crazy
so
stuff.
where, Pharaoh, does the Intercontinental title weigh in your mind as belts?
That's obvious. I mean, to me.
Any belt, U.S. belt, NWA belt.
It's number two.
Number two.
It's the number 2 belt in the company. I'll always look at it as the number 2 belt in the company, and it is what it is. I'm a little disappointed over the years. It used to mean when you held that belt, you actually were the second best wrestler in the company in the pecking order. It
Right.
used to mean that. The era we've been discussing, that's what it used to mean. Nowadays, not so much.
Well, I've always felt like they
that's a
tried
bit
to
of a
push the
shame.
U.S. title up, and if people don't remember, they actually retired the Intercontinental title in 2002.
Yeah.
I actually wasn't watching wrestling at that time. I kind of had gotten a little worn out from it, but I stopped for a while.
Now, you know what's interesting, what happens next, pretty much in the lineage of the history as we're going along here.
Yeah.
And it is very interesting. What happens is that the Intercontinental title at this point has either been showcased by a former world champion, Pedro Morales, or a guy who couldn't beat Backlund like a Morocco or a Valentine.
Right.
Now things get very interesting because the next champions that start to come along are guys like Macho Man Randy Savage.
Who wins the belt before challenging for the heavyweight
becoming the great legendary world heavyweight champion.
Sure.
So now the Intercontinental title is fully matured and is serving its purpose to now groom the next champion.
Yes.
It has changed its purpose.
Wow, well
it's
said.
very, very interesting how that happened. A guy like Savage, a guy, great Intercontinental champions who went on to be great world champions. A guy like Bret Hart, a guy like Shawn Michaels.
Yep.
These guys, over the next 10 years, after the period we've just left off at, pretty much are carrying and showcasing this title as this is the belt you win before you become the great one, the top guy. You know?
I agree.
And just some incredible matches. One of the greatest Intercontinental title match moments, if we can, since we're, in the late 80s and, here and there. What about that incredible moment where Honky Tonk said, I'll wrestle anybody. I'll take on anybody. I don't care who it is. Well, and whoops, it's the Ultimate Warrior. And here he comes. This guy was as hot as the 85 Bears. I mean, this guy comes flying out. And what was it, 31 seconds or something like that? Destroys a guy who, how long was his reign? The longest reign in the history of the belt. Honky Tonk Man's reign. And Warrior comes out and decimates it in 31 seconds. And guess what? The fans loved every single millisecond of it.
Well,
That's one of the great Intercontinental matches, and it's not even a clinic. It's just someone who's so over. It's such a great moment.
so let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What is the greatest moment for this Intercontinental title, in your opinion?
Ooh, I'm going to have to go to my little notebook here because I don't want to be irresponsible. I had been going over some matches earlier this week and looking at a lot of them, and I could fling some out there if you want me to. I did previously mention.
Well, I would want to know what your truth. See, let me start off here, and we discussed this earlier, folks. If anyone knows, one of the great Intercontinental moments for me personally was there was a time where Captain Lou Albano managed Don Morocco. Right?
Right.
And Morocco wrestled such greats as Rocky Johnson, Jimmy Snuka. We all know about
Morocco
that.
was top of the card.
There was a point where Captain Lou Albano managed Iron Mike Sharp.
Yes.
And Iron Mike Sharp had the black armband, and he would hit people, and he'd put the metal in there.
Iron Mike Sharp was actually pretty high up on the pecking order at one point.
So I used to go to
enough.
the Garden every month. Okay, it was a big thing for me. And I became an Iron Mike Sharp fan also. There was a moment where Morocco, in between, I think, Johnson and Snuka, wrestles Iron Mike Sharp for the Intercontinental title. Albano is managing both wrestlers.
Wow.
And he's actually helping both wrestlers cheat to win.
I remember.
And Morocco ends up winning the belt, winning the match.
Of course, he defends the title.
Right. But for me,
That's classic.
That's my moment. Like
That is
that was
so classic.
such a great moment.
And what an unusual set of circumstances, the way they presented that. You got two bad guys and the manager's representing both, and he's helping both cheat. That's incredible.
Here's another moment for me.
Okay.
the Meadowlands started playing a bigger role in the WWF. Morocco, again, I keep talking about Don Morocco. Morocco has to defend his belt against the great Mexican hero, Mil Mascaras. And if everybody knew anything about Mil Mascaras, this guy never lost.
Right.
He beat everybody.
And if he was losing, he wouldn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So,
Sorry,
being
Adam.
younger, I'm thinking to myself, like, oh my God, Morocco is going to lose his belt at the Meadowlands to Mil Mascaras, and I'm not going to be able to see it, and this is going to be terrible. Long story short, I think Morocco got counted out, but the point of the matter
still
is,
doesn't lose.
like, to me, as a fan, God, did I want to see Morocco against Mil Mascaras. Angry, right? Because we were homers for Madison Square Garden and Nassau Coliseum.
Right.
Angry that we didn't get that type of match. But, I digress. So go ahead. What meant the most for you for this particular title?
Well, as far as personal memory goes, and I hope I'm remembering this completely accurately, I saw Rob Van Dam win the Intercontinental title. You know how I love Rob Van Dam. Come on. I do believe I saw Rob Van Dam beat Benoit for the Intercontinental belt. And that was pretty damn amazing.
And that's the highest on your list?
Dude, think about those two in the ring. You know what kind of match that was? That was ridiculous. What a clinic. You got the mat technician against the pinnacle of high flyers, and they made it work. And yeah, it was great to witness live. That was great. I got to be honest, that honky tonk memory is very big for me when Warrior came flying down.
For any wrestling
That was
fan,
huge.
that is so
Wembley
huge.
Stadium,
Oh my God.
Hart and Bulldog,
Beautiful.
was absolutely huge. Hart and Mr. Perfect, 91 for the belt. Oh my! No, go back and look at that one. Oh my God!
I don't know why that doesn't resonate for me.
Here's another one, 2009. How about this? I'll jump ahead. 2009, in a period where wrestling was threatening to really take a poop, and CM Punk was just around the corner. The match of the year, Chris Jericho and Rey Mysterio with the mask. Do you remember when he tore off the mask and there was another mask?
Yeah, right.
The rematch that they had where Rey gets his vengeance. That was one of the greatest Intercontinental title matches ever. And fortunately, Jericho's involved in it.
I
with Mysterio.
love your
Incredible.
comment on the Bulldog Bret Hart match.
That was
that was one of the great.
By the way, that's the loudest pop you may ever hear. It's one of the loudest pops you may ever hear. Of course, it was in England, Wembley Stadium. The Bulldog gets the win. The place explosion.
Here's one that you might laugh at me, but for some reason it holds really well for me.
Yeah.
SummerSlam, Texas Tornado against Mr. Perfect.
Get out of here.
I
Really?
freaking love that match. I don't know. I'm a Kerry Von Erich mark, too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you are.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
look,
you
let's
are.
not forget, really, in my opinion, probably the greatest Intercontinental match and maybe probably one of the greatest matches of all time, in my opinion.
WrestleMania 3.
WrestleMania 3.
Of course.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Of course.
Randy Macho Man Savage.
You
oh,
know,
my God.
you know what a bitter bird I am about that match to this day. I still am so pissed that Savage lost the match. I'm such a mark. That's right. I'm saying it. I was like so annoyed that he lost the match through the interference of George Steele. It bothers me to this day. The greatest match has that ending. Bothers me to this day. I would prefer a better ending.
You keep saying that.
I would prefer a better ending, but you know what? It didn't matter. The crowd loved it. George's love affair for, Liz, the whole thing. So, yeah, it worked. Oh, another cool thing. How about 2004? We're at the point at 2004 where the belt is so established, and it's now shown that if you win this belt, you're going to be a future world champion.
Right.
How about this match in 2004 where the Kid said, "I have arrived." Randy Orton defeats Cactus Jack. That was a bloodbath. And that also put Randy Orton, his first strap, the Intercontinental, it's got him down his road. There's been a lot of classics over the years.
Here's my problem with some of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
The wrestling at that point came in, you won a belt, you lost it weeks later, no matter what. It was like you never held on to a title.
Right.
That's why I don't get it.
But it was important, though, at the time for Randy to get that title and to defeat somebody of Cactus Jack's status.
So let's talk about that.
That was important.
Pedro Morales, 2
Early
reigns, 619 combined days.
That's insane. We got tortured for almost 2 years.
The Miz. Now this is kind of ridiculous.
I respect
8 reigns.
I respect
for 597. So he's had the most combined days.
Yeah.
but over 8 reigns.
Right, and when
if
you
really
break
look
it
at that,
down,
it's like a month.
It's like a month or two.
Yeah, it's like,
it's
come
no
on.
big thing. Pedro's, you break it down, it's a year apiece.
Don
or so.
Morocco for 541.
2 reigns.
Not
right.
bad.
That's amazing.
Honky
Great.
Tonk Man, 1.
That's the greatest.
454.
We could stop right there. That, to me, as I've told you 1,000 times, that is the greatest reign in the history of the Intercontinental title.
So speaking of that.
And it ended in 31 seconds at Madison Square.
So speaking of that, we'll take a
Warrior.
quick commercial break and we'll get back that who is really the greatest Intercontinental title holder of all time. You'll hear it from the Pharaoh right after this break.
Right back. Yeah!
In the mood for a freshly roasted cup of coffee? www.offtherailscoffeeroasters.com. You want to star in your own success? Call QuickCast. www.quickcast.com. 866-7-CAST-NOW. That's 866-7-CAST-NOW. QuickCast.
Start your own success.
Jimmy, I just got the best hookup on tickets.
Fill me in.
I went to www.seatslinks.com and ordered the best tickets with the best prices.
Call 718-676-0504. SeatsLink, the complete ticket experience.
Tell them Charles sent you. All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. Monte and Pharaoh, only seen here out of Indie Music TV, out of Ronkonkoma, New York, every Thursday. You can catch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. We're also on cable TV, channel 115 on Tuesdays from 7 to 7:30. Fridays on channel 20 from 2 a.m. to 2:30 a.m. And on Saturday, again, on channel 115 from 6 to 6:30 a.m. Boy, do we love this belt. The Intercontinental title. Boy, I was excited to do this show.
Yeah.
So,
We should do the other belts, too. We should do shows on the other belts.
Sure.
Some of them.
Some of them.
Not the hardcore.
Again, we're little homers. We'd probably have to
Not
do a little NWA maybe.
Let's do the light heavyweight title.
Well, maybe next time we'll do like an NWA thing.
Really?
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Like maybe like
Yeah.
the TV championship.
No, I would want to do the world title into the WCW thing.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
that would be cool.
All right.
All right.
So Pharaoh,
Yeah.
here's the question.
Question.
Who is the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time?
Can you go first while I sit here and tie my brain up? This is
All right, guys. So this is
This
like
is
this is
rough.
difficult.
This
okay?
is very difficult.
I'm going to explain my thought process.
I'm looking
in
at
this,
like
and
10 names.
and I'm going to weigh in.
Yeah, go on.
So when you think about the Intercontinental Champion, right? Most of the heavyweight champions, most
Yeah.
held the Intercontinental Championship at some time
major
or
ones.
another,
Some
right?
major ones did. Yeah.
There's guys that were great Intercontinental Champions, but when I say their name, I don't think of them as Intercontinental Champion.
Correct.
So I'll use examples for the folks out there.
Very correct.
Bret Hart,
Right.
to me, is a world champion, not an Intercontinental
An
champion.
awesome Intercontinental champion,
Absolutely.
but he's a world champion first. I agree.
Randy Savage,
Same thing. I agree.
okay?
I agree.
I would go and
champion
say
first.
Shawn Michaels,
I agree. World champion first.
right?
Yep. I'm following.
Pedro Morales.
World
Great-
champion first.
World champion first. Really,
World-
he was.
For 2 years!
He was really world champion.
Try being champion in the early 70s for 2 years.
So,
oh, yeah. World
I'm-
champion
I'm
first.
actually-
Pedro
look,
Morales, yes.
You can't disregard the greatness
No.
that Honky Tonk Man brought to the belt. Okay?
Nope.
And you can't disregard Razor Ramon, who was never a world champion.
That's right.
So he, to me, is an Intercontinental Champion.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to tell you, in Mike Monte's opinion,
This is going to be
the
interesting.
greatest Intercontinental
You
Champion
get the
of all
same
time
name that I do, I'm going to freak.
is Mr. Perfect.
Oh, my God!
Kurt
You're
Hennig.
kidding me. That's exactly what I think.
Really?
Yep.
Right there, brother.
Wow, that was, you know what?
Tell me why.
That was perfect.
That was perfect.
That was perfect.
Tell me why.
Because for the very reasons you stated, when it comes to, boy, oh boy, when it comes to the Intercontinental title, I think of it as who represented the belt the best.
Yes. Yes.
Who represented the belt on a main event level where you basically said, this guy might as well be champion. He's so great. He is the champion.
That's right.
Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
Mr. Perfect was an absolute thing of beauty to watch when he was doing his deal. You know,
2 title reigns for 406, by the way. Not too shabby.
And by the way, when we're using that premise that remembered as the Intercontinental Champion, Rick Rude gets a huge thumbs up.
Absolutely.
Who else would get a huge thumbs up when you start to think about that one? You know who would get a huge thumbs up? And I know he's a world champion first, but Chris Jericho deserves
I was going to say Jericho.
So much.
Absolutely.
I mean, after all, he's got the 9 reigns. You know, again, we broke it down mathematically. They're not long reigns, but from time to time, Jericho would put that strap on him and remind everybody, this belt means something. And Jericho, because it was on his waist. You know, thank God he kept the dang thing going. You know,
right.
When you think about it. And that's why I do appreciate, if I can get it in quick, Ziggler and The Miz over the last 5 years fighting over that belt. Miz has had it, 8 times? Ziggler's had it 6 times. At least there's 2 good wrestlers, 2 good polar opposites who are great in the ring giving us something over this title. You know, we got it. This title is a great title. And outside of the world title, there is no greater title in the land of Vince McMahon. This is it, you know? So... who else would represent?
Well, let's make it okay.
Tito
so
Santana was a great
established
champion.
Mr. Perfect as number 1.
I think he is.
Give me your top 5 in order.
What are you
Intercontinental Champion.
All right, fine. I'll put Perfect first. I'll put Honky Tonk second.
Fair. I'm right now. You and I are right together.
I'll put Rick Rude third. Who's a great Intercontinental Champion.
I'm gonna go with Razor Ramon third.
Okay, you know what? They can interchange. How does that sound?
That's fair enough.
Because he'll be 4 or 3. Him and Rude, right?
Absolutely.
How do you discount Rick Rude? My God, at number 5, can't we just split Morocco and Valentine and call him Greg Morocco?
Fine.
I mean,
I am in full agreement with you on the top 5.
Well, there you have it, folks. This list is absolutely perfect.
So let's go through it again. Perfect.
yeah.
Who is next?
Honky Tonk. You gonna try to make me remember what I said a minute ago?
We got
Ramon,
Razor Ramon and Rude.
You know, and then
Valentine
a tie
and
between
Morocco.
Valentine and Morocco. Hey, we're the good guys.
Unfortunately, Mr. Patterson, who passed away, did not make our top 5.
Well,
But,
different. He had a different impact. It doesn't. Without him, it doesn't even start.
Right.
You know, and his first script was great. The turning face and everything like that. So that stuff was awesome. And Ken Patera was a great Intercontinental Champion too, by the way. Said probably sitting at home, you fuckers, why don't you mention me?
So speaking of Perfect, then
sorry, Mr.
you
Patera.
said, I guess your favorite match was Perfect and Bret Hart. Was your favorite match?
No, I go back to the ladder match exchanges between Shawn and Razor.
No, but I mean, is Mr. Perfect, if he's the best Intercontinental champion?
Yes, his match with Bret Hart
so
is just
for me,
insanity.
you know what's so funny?
You know,
He's the greatest Intercontinental champion, but he definitely doesn't have anywhere in the top 20 best Intercontinental matches.
To me, he does because of his match with Bret. It is one of the greatest.
In your opinion, yes.
It was fantastic. Go back and watch it. You will love it. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. You know, it is possible that you can't cover every single match.
Absolutely.
You know, in your lifetime, there's a lot of great matches I'm sure I haven't even seen yet, but trust me, and you probably did see it back in the day, but watch that one again. Perfect and Bret Hart are absolutely perfect.
I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it again.
They both are. What a
and
tale.
on the other hand, I'm going to ask
tell.
you to go back and watch Kerry Von Erich against Mr. Perfect.
What does he do? Put an armbar on him?
No, it's fucking great.
What a clinic it must be.
It's Kerry Von Erich,
That's
brother.
hilarious.
Kerry Von Erich, Kurt Hennig. Think of that matchup.
Yeah.
That could main event any
of course
arena
it could have back
at
in
any time.
Of course it could have back in the day. Absolutely. Boy, Kerry Von Erich. You know, sometimes when I think of him, I can't help but think of Magnum TA also. Another guy. Like, where was the ceiling for guys like that? Apparently higher than they were ever able to get to because they either had a tragedy or in Kerry's case, he self-imploded. Mm-hmm. Kerry was an amazing specimen, but he was never that great in the ring, though. Let's calm down here.
It was Kerry Von Erich.
He was Kerry Von Erich.
Sometimes you don't have to be great.
He was. And you know, David
on
was
the other
favorite,
hand,
though,
Kurt Hennig
of the family
was friggin' awesome, dude. Anyway, I want to thank the Intercontinental title for giving us some of the.
Thanks.
You know, 53 years old.
Does this belt get benefits?
This belt's going to get some benefits. At 53 years old, the Intercontinental's title has given us 40-something years of incredible love
a lot of
and
greatness.
excitement.
A lot of greatness.
I mean, one match we didn't speak about. And
Yeah.
you know what? I have to
China?
apologize.
How can we not mention China?
I have to apologize. To me, the second greatest Intercontinental title
Not
match
China
of all
beating
time.
Jericho. I was
No.
so pissed. Go on.
No. And you know what? We were so focused.
The Jericho hold.
And I think you're gonna agree with me.
What do you got?
Jimmy Superfly Snuka, steel cage against Don Morocco.
Hello.
How do we forget that
We
match?
can't forget that. Well, that was at night. We didn't cut school for that, but we probably didn't do our homework. That's for sure.
Well, I went.
Oh, you were there?
I was there.
How you go without the Pharaoh?
Dude, you were like,
Was
like
I
your
getting
mother
high?
wouldn't let you. You're in trouble or something. You might have gotten high. Yeah, it could have
It
been
is high school. I was listening to Maiden. Sorry, folks.
What is your memory of that match?
That was incredible. It was another incredible match. It just
that place was
Nothing-
unglued.
nothing like those days, especially before the line got.
You know,
weird.
folks, for anyone that went to Madison Square Garden, and I'm going to tell you, back in those days,
Very special.
it was
Yeah.
off the hook. Jimmy Snuka, Magnificent Morocco, the people did not sit
No.
down for that match.
No.
When he climbed to the top, and by the way, I'll give props. Jimmy Snuka, Bob Backlund steel cage match was incredible too.
Come on.
There's one match I saw in Madison Square Garden. Now, I wasn't there for Hogan Chic, so I couldn't tell you how it was. But I will tell you I was there for War to Settle the Score, Piper against Hogan. That dominated Snuka Morocco. People were fighting in the stands. It was insanity.
Piper brought that out in people. Piper was as red hot as a heel could be.
It was insane.
He had the most emotional responses as a bad guy. The place would be on the verge of a riot.
So we got about 3 minutes. Give me
minutes?
your final thoughts, Pharaoh, on the Intercontinental title, my friend.
Well, again, there's never been a greater title outside of the WWE heavyweight title. I think back on all the fantastic matches, especially early in our childhood. The belt's always been important. The belt's been through some crap. It was even retired, as we mentioned, off air. Wasn't this thing retired in the early 2000s? I was
Absolutely.
like, what on earth are you guys doing? Bring this thing back. It wasn't retired long. It has always afforded the opportunity. Thank God for its existence. There's way too many wrestlers, especially today. When you look at the size of the roster of the WWE and all the other, we've already said that the rest of the other rosters could have a card on their own, a super card. This belt, thankfully, with all these, the plethora of too many wrestlers, this belt has always, thankfully, been there for a guy like Jericho who deserved to hold the title.
Absolutely.
Or nowadays, if it's The Miz, I think The Miz fits the shoe real well. This is a guy who should have a belt of some kind, and he's been the face for many years now as far as this belt goes. This belt has more than served its purpose and given us back great joy. It's a classic. And it'll probably have another 40, 50 years, unless they sell it to Disney. I had to go there.
Yep.
Ha-ha, kitties.
With that, you've been watching Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte and the Pharaoh, seen only here out of
Buy it, fucko.
Indie Music TV in Ronkonkoma, New York. Coming up in not this Saturday, but next Saturday, we will be having Mike Knox in studio,
Alrighty.
along with a former Intercontinental. I believe he was an Intercontinental champion.
I think you're right.
Savio Vega.
More importantly, the guy who got Tony Atlas the hell out of Puerto Rico, or gave him the heads up at least.
Dude,
right?
I'm pretty sure, and I don't want to get off the air with this, but I'm pretty sure Savio Vega
Yeah, you might be all right.
was an Intercontinental.
For what, like 12 days or something?
Well, I'm going to tell you what.
You know how those reigns go.
I might be. If you hold on, keep it going there. Don't let it go. Please don't let it go.
Was that the show that Alex was on? I can't even get these damn game show hosts.
I'm going
right.
to find it in a second. But Savio Vega will also be in studio. We'll talk to him about the death of Bruiser Brody, obviously.
Oy.
But also
Lord.
what The Undertaker meant to Savio Vega, who recently was with The Undertaker on his farewell night at Survivor Series. Oddly enough, people, The Undertaker never won the Intercontinental title.
Really?
Which is interesting
That's
in
weird.
itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
You would be shocked that would be the case.
He hasn't even held the world title a lot of times when you think about, how Triple H and Randy Orton and the rest of them have held the belt over 10 times.
But when you think of Undertaker, you think him as being a world champion.
Of course.
Right?
No-brainer. No-brainer.
Hang in there, man. I'm still looking.
Look at you. Where is this guy?
It.
He's not there,
here's another
folks.
guy that I got to give a shout out that I thought was a really good Intercontinental champion, and I'm going to say Goldust.
Goldust was good during the Attitude Era. Yeah,
I
was.
thought he was a fun Intercontinental Champion.
was.
I
No,
thought
he
he
was
was
good.
entertaining. You know, when Ken
was
Patera was in here, he said that when China won the belt, she ruined the belt. Thoughts on that?
That's because Ken doesn't buy into ever being pinned by China, and no, China would not pin Ken. You know, Ken's a big, strong man, so I guess Ken was looking at it like, what's going on here? You know, was it really that unbelievable though, physically, for China to pin Chris Jericho?
Honestly,
I don't think so.
I didn't think so.
But I was still bothered by it because I'm a Jericho fan. But you know, it wasn't that far fetched, really. China was big.
This is where I made the mistake.
What?
Goldust beat Savio Vega when the title was vacated.
Oh, okay. So he was almost Intercontinental.
So the
champion.
title was held up. Against Savio Vega, ended up in a no contest. That's where I thought Savio.
okay.
So Savio was not Intercontinental Champion.
But he was part of the what was going on at the time before the belt
Right.
was.
So anyway, Mike Knox will be in studio along with Savio Vega. Should be a fun time.
Yes, sir.
Any parting comments for the wrestling fans out there, Mr. Pharaoh?
Just thanks a lot to the fans for the increased watchage.
Yes.
Recently on YouTube, you know, we really work hard to do the best we can and give you the best show possible. So I really appreciate all the positive feedback. I guess that's about it, man.
I also want to give a shout out to Chris Patty, the owner of Indie Music TV.
As always.
And obviously our producer, Matt. If it wasn't for this studio and him, you know, God knows, you know, where the show would be. And we're solely, you know, listen, I want to give ourselves a pat on the back. A lot of fans out there have written that we're their favorite wrestling show on YouTube.
That's fantastic.
I mean, that itself is pretty incredible, man.
I'm speechless over that. All I can say is thanks.
And we can
Thank
say
you.
thanks to Indie Music TV. Without you guys, it just would never happen. Well, anyway, this has been Monte and the Pharaoh. I'm Mike Monte.
This is the Pharaoh, and until next week, later.